Why is this so expensive? What's up guys, Jason here, aspiring entrepreneur, and in today's video we're going to be talking about the top 5 reasons you should avoid Google AdWords and using it as an advertising platform. So if you're just joining me, I did a video that was all positive, top 5 reasons to use it. This one's going to be all negative, top 5 reasons might not be good for you and your business and generating sales, because that's pretty much why we advertise. So let's kick things off with reason number 5, and that is expensive. It's just getting really expensive when it comes to search, and that's because more and more money is leaving other advertising platforms and coming to Google. So for example, if you're a personal injury attorney, you can pay upwards of $200 for just one click. Now, obviously, those personal injury attorneys are making hundreds of thousands of dollars potentially on the back end, so that makes sense. But as an advertiser, when you're just getting started, anywhere from $200, now that's an extreme. Other industries, if you're in the brokerage industry, you can pay $20 a click for how to trade stocks, and so you just have to look at who's advertising in your industry and what kind of budgets you're up against when it comes to advertising. There are ways to be successful, but it's definitely an uphill battle, especially if you're not a full-time AdWords person. Number 4, no mercy. When your account gets suspended, just throw up your hands and leave. That's pretty much it, because I've had businesses and clients in the past where they got slapped by Google and there was just absolutely nothing we could do to get Google to tell us what we did wrong. And so it's kind of like walking on eggshells. You have this problem is pretty reoccurring when an advertising platform gets scale. They all of a sudden know that they can kind of jerk pretty much anyone they want around. And so the flip side of this is it keeps the AdWords platform pretty clean of things that they don't want. At the same time, it is sometimes pretty easy to get lumped into categories that you don't want to get lumped into, and your ads are your account is either suspended or your ads are disapproved. So just a big warning, if your ad ever gets disapproved, do everything in your power right then and there to fix it, because really with Google AdWords, there is no second chance. Now, number 3, I was hesitant to include in here, but I'm gonna assume most of you guys are new to Google AdWords and the advertising platform, so I'm gonna include it here, and here it is, unqualified traffic. If you're not careful, Google will send you a ton of just waves upon waves of traffic who couldn't care less about you, your business, your product, and your service. And you really have to take control and zero in on the keywords and the type of traffic you want. And this will specifically happen when you use something called broad match keywords. If you don't know what that is, that's okay. For those of you guys who are looking at your accounts and going, man, Google's just burning my money, turn off all your broad match and you'll start doing a lot better. But remember, it's Google's job to look for opportunities to serve your ad. They have, millions of searches a second. So the more they can serve your ad, the more money they're going to make. And so you really need to take the reins and tell Google exactly where you want to show up. Otherwise, search and display, you'll start showing up a bunch of random places and getting a lot of unqualified traffic to your site. And number 2 deals with their inference. Now, they are fixing this a little bit with the alpha inference, but in some instances, their new alpha inference is even more confusing. And that is, the backend is not user-friendly. You're going to be spending a lot of time figuring out where things are and how to use it, and if you're really not careful and keeping your budgets low, you'll wind up wasting a lot of money serving your ads to, like I just talked about, to people who aren't really qualified, and also be turning on and off the wrong ads and optimizing in ways that aren't really in your best interest simply because the inference is so confusing. I know there's a lot of bells and whistles, there's a lot of things they can do, but the way they've gone about this is they offer something called AdWords Express, but that takes away too many options. And in fact, it takes away so many options, I don't take on any clients that use AdWords Express. I say, okay, you're either gonna have to pay for a new site or you're just gonna have to figure it out on your own. So their solution to too many bells and whistles actually whittles it down and forces you into what I talked about in number 3, you just get a bunch of unqualified traffic. So even though they tried to solve the problem, they actually just made it worse. So really, there are so many ways you can make the ad inference easier on people, and I think Facebook has done an excellent job of creating a simple ad inference. I'm surprised Google hasn't caught up and tried to do the same. And finally, number 5, this deals with the demographic data. So if you're familiar with Facebook advertising, you can target people by age, gender, whether they like ponies or horses or unicorns, whatever their interests are. So Facebook's really strong in that, and Google's trying to compete with them on that front. However, I really, really caution you against trying out their demographic targeting, because 8 times out of 10, it's about 20% of the time you'll get lucky, but 8 times out of 10, it just gives you a bunch of random people, because Google is still trying to figure out how to get those numbers. And even if they do have that data and those numbers, I'm finding a lot of client accounts not performing well when I try and use those. Now, it is 8 out of 10, but it's not good enough for me as an advertiser if I'm taking 2 out of 10, a 20% chance that their targeting may or may not work. I really think they should just not include it until they figure it out. Otherwise, you're going to get to be Google's guinea pig as they figure out their targeting, and guess what? You're going to pay to be a guinea pig as well. So those are my top 5 reasons why Google AdWords might not be a good fit for your business. Let me know in the comments below if I missed anything or if you strongly disagree. I always love those. And if you're an entrepreneur or business owner or freelancer, then I encourage you to subscribe and like, because over on my YouTube channel, I'm going from A to Z and everything in between on how to build an online business from scratch. So if you're working on building your business, growing your sales, generating more leads, then this is definitely the place for you. Go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. So until then, keep building the business you love. Take care.